Good evening, Resistance conspirators and Jedi zealots. Perhaps I'm not who you were expecting tonight, but I regret to inform you that your regularly scheduled program has been commandeered by the First Order. Your host astronomer has been accused of collaborating with the Resistance, and is therefore indisposed at the moment. So now, you are left with me. To start things off, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Halloween. I'm not acclimated to your Earth-based customs yet, but as I understand it, this is a day where the dark side reigns supreme. I'm quite eager to take part in the festivities. Now, I believe tonight you are going to observe some astronomical phenomenon. Lucky for you, I still see value in this. If the First Order is to occupy your planet, it's in my best interest to familiarize myself with your star system. Incidentally, it appears to be an ideal night for this endeavor. Atmospheric conditions look promising, and I've just been informed that your tidally locked satellite is at full illumination. It will be a great opportunity to study its surface and determine its viability as our next battle station. So welcome everyone to this hollow stream on Halloween. Feel free to send communications to your Supreme Leader throughout the show. I look forward to speaking with you. Now, let's go and inspect this object you call the moon.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I know it looked like it was actually Kylo Ren right now. It's just me, but we're going to be observing the moon tonight. It is the blue moon, means there's two full moons in 1 month in this month of October. So I'm going to stay dressed up throughout the show. Maybe I'll put the mask on here and there. I'd love to hear what you're dressed as tonight, if anything. You see, I sort of themed the show, for sure. It's definitely a Halloween-focused show. We are going to mostly focus on the moon tonight. Make sure it's running okay. How's the audio, everyone? It looks like we're having some framing issues here. It might be a little bit stuttery here and there. I'll see if I can fix that. I was running into a couple of internet problems at the start here. But I think we're running fairly smoothly now. And you can see we're still peeking through some trees, so that will improve. I saw some people were requesting Jupiter and Saturn. They do set a little bit later. They're still up right now, but I already have the camera system ready to go for the moon, and that same camera can't be used for those planets. So we'll run with this for now. Maybe at some point we'll go to Mars, because I think Saturn and Jupiter we'll miss out on. We'll have other opportunities for those ones, however. Getting some chats here. So like Kylo Ren said, feel free to send in your communications throughout the show. I'd be happy to hear from you. I'm here to answer any questions you have, just to chat. Be a nice virtual destination for your Halloween night if you are trying to stay safe and just stay at home for the evening. Let's see, get rid of this here, I don't need that. Now, I'd also love to hear about your thoughts on the new layout for the stream. This is just, I mean, I can alter this. Of course, I themed it for Halloween appropriately, but I have some other ideas on how to alter it. But I think it ends up being a little bit cleaner. Not every, we're not getting any of the gobbledygook on the sides of our images, and you also get a nice clean layout where I am. I'm not overlaid on top of the video. Everything's nice and focused. That was sort of what I was going for. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any ideas on how you'd like to see it improved. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. You can see I've tried to theme the observatory a little bit. There are, if I turn these lights down, no, not that one, this one. You can see I've got some nice, fun, oh, there we go, nice fun bat lights there. I don't know if you can actually tell that they're bats, but they're purple at least, so fun Halloween purple. I will have to go inside at one point and get that pumpkin that some of you may have seen on Facebook. That is our constellation pumpkin. It's really cool. There's unfortunately, I realized as I was starting to decorate a little bit, there's just not a lot of room and a lot of setup space in the observatory, of course, because it's not really meant to be decorated as such. Let's see if I can frame this camera a little bit better, so I'm not always talking away from you. There we go, that should be a little bit nicer. Raise it up a bit. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Let's see how the chat's doing. I hope you're all being safe and staying well on Halloween here. What was our last stream? It would have been Mars, right? I think that was our last one. So it's been a little bit. We have a full moon here, so our options for deep sky objects are limited, but this is the it's the next full moon, rather, won't be until 2039. So this is an opportunity to have a nice, awesome full moon on Halloween night, which is really cool. So we're going to take advantage of it, and once it comes above the horizon, we're going to get some good looks. I sort of like right now how the leaves on the trees look like bats in our field of view, just flapping in front of the moon. That's pretty cool. Oh, we got lots of comments here. Yeah, I might return. I see some comments on that little sound clip I put together. My ideal situation was I would have modulated my voice over the stream and tried to keep the mask on when possible and stuff. But that didn't work out. I can't, unfortunately, find a good way to modulate my voice, at least on Mac. There are some good options for Windows, but with my current setup, I had to go with what I had. So yes, that was a pre-done audio clip that I made. So I might go back to it at some point for any newcomers that come along. Maybe we'll try it again here and there throughout the stream, just to give new viewers that fun little moment. Let's see. Yes, the moon through the trees. Hi, Aja. Yes, happy Halloween to you as well. We have Gamer Boy here saying, yes, but it's not blue. That's a great observation. It is sort of a deceptive name. The moon is not actually going to be blue. All it means is that it's the second blue moon within the same month. So because we're in October here, I think the last full moon would have been October 1st, 2nd, something like that. And then we now have a full moon on October 31st in celebration of Halloween. How about that? And again, the next full moon on Halloween will not be until 2039. So you have two rarities here. You have the blue moon that's pretty rare. Usually you don't get a blue moon every year. It's really every 2 or 3 years you get a blue moon. So again, a moon within the same month. And then, let's see, every about 19 years you get a full moon on Halloween. So a blue moon and a full moon on Halloween is especially rare. Now, let's see, I gotta make sure I'm answering all your questions here. I'm getting a lot of comments, and I appreciate it. Yes, Mars was the last string, the opposition. Then So, yes, Lauren Teleska says, how about mentioning the original seasonal use of the term blue moon? Now, I know my knowledge is limited as far as what it was relevant to in terms of the, what is it called? There's a sort of a guide, almanac of sorts. Farmer's Almanac? Maybe? I'm not even sure if it corresponds to harvesting or whatnot. I just know the astronomical significance of it, which, I mean, it's in that regard, it's not terribly significant. Just, you know, the mere nature of having a second full moon in the same month is just the design of our months, and it just, you know, chance when you get a blue moon. That's why it happens every 2 or 3 years and not every year. But there's no astronomical significance. The moon's still doing the same thing. It's still orbiting every 28 days or so around the Earth. So that hasn't changed at all. And it's not like it's closer either. That's a supermoon. We're not having a supermoon tonight where the moon is actually closer and larger. So the actual, I guess, agricultural regard for it, I'm not entirely certain of. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that if anyone has any ideas on its significance to seasons and the Farmer's Almanac. I might be totally butchering that term. I'm not sure. Let's see here. My phone keeps wanting to turn off, so I'm just going to make sure it doesn't do that. Go. Make sure I can see your comments consistently. Let's try and refocus our view here so we can get a little bit more detail on those branches, because that, as of right now, is what we have to work with. It's almost there, though. We're getting there. Let's see what we can do. I really underestimated it, but I should have realized the full moon is gonna go out. So we can get focused on. No, won't let us do those. Well, there's a leaf. We have some trees further out in the distance that are still blocking our view. See if I can get some detail on the moon now, though. Just gotta bring the exposure down. We're seeing some of these seas on the moon, the darker patches, but they're definitely coming in and out here. When you're peering through these branches, it's hard to get a good sense of that crisp. Oh no, it's coming in. Yeah, there we go. There's our moon. Trying to center it here as best I can for you. That's not too bad. We'll leave it at that. Can even bring the exposure down a bit more now that we can actually see some. Oh, hey, how about that? All right. We'll leave it there for now. Joe Bergeron says, apparently the current definition of blue moon originated from Sky and Telescope. And it's not the original one, as LT says. Yeah, I'm mostly basing it on the astronomical definition, but that is not the origin of the term blue moon. That is true. Linda D says, it's the third full moon of 4 in one season. Why is my volume going up by itself? That's weird. I think I have a ghost. My phone's volume just turned up by itself, which is disconcerting. I'm going to bring it over to this one, so again, I'm not off camera. Scope focus. Yep, I'll be able to get the focus even a little bit better. Right now we're still through some trees, so we're going to give it another few minutes before I go and focus it again. But let's see what else we have here. I sort of like the, I liked having the trees there for a bit. We got a little bit of a spooky moon for a while, like you say there, Flight Simulator. So I liked that viewpoint. I liked how it looked like there was bats in front of it, but I'm happy to eventually get to a nice crystal clear moon. Although I wouldn't object to some clouds showing up at any point. I'd be fine with that. It's some spooky... Not thick clouds, but just enough to add a little zest, I guess, to the moon. Now, one thing I'll eventually want to do is make sure... Yeah, I gotta do like a 90-degree flip, and then a flip along the vertical. Or, no, sorry, 90-degree rotation. 90-degree rotation counterclockwise, and then then a flip along the vertical. And that should get us a proper moon. So usually, like when you look up at the moon in the sky, I mean, it sort of depends on where it is in its, where it is in altitude along the sky and along the ecliptic. But usually Tycho would be considered like facing down. It's all relative, it doesn't super matter, but I want to give you as realistic a view as I can, so I'll be able to do that. Roy says, are you crazy being alone at an observatory on a full moon on Halloween? Just asking for aliens. I know, it's true. But hey, I'm an alien, right? Today. And I have a lightsaber. So I'm all set. Yeah, that is true. It does tend to be crystal clear on these nights. Mars is shining up there nice and red. Look at that. We might go to Mars later. We'll see how... The nice part about this costume is that it is really warm. It has like this big scarf on it, a huge hood if I need it, and I can always put the mask on. Not sure how I looked in that first go. My hood might have been messed up on that first playthrough, so maybe we'll try it again. Yeah, with Mars, I will need to... oh, wow, we're going through another tree, aren't we, on the moon? I think this is the last branch, the last thick branch we're going through. Yeah, Mars, I think would be another good target to go to tonight before we close out the show. Because it is... one, we're just past opposition, but we're still pretty close to it. Like I was saying on the previous streams, we have plenty of opportunity with Mars over the next month or two. It really won't get significantly smaller or dimmer. Now, once you start heading deeper into winter and into spring, it will fall off quite a bit. And also, eventually you're going to start making your way. It'll be a bit, but you'll make your way around the other side of the sun, as Mars tries to chase us, but it can't because it's too slow. So we're going to be whipping around, and eventually Mars will be way too close to the sun for us to observe. That's a little ways out, but we have some time with the red planet still, and we might as well make use of the time where it is close to us. People are still getting great pictures of Mars on through their telescopes. You can look at a variety of social media and astrophotographers across, Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and so on. People are getting great images still. Bring the moon back up into view here. I feel like I should wear my mask for a bit. It does say Kylo Ren in the banner. I don't quite look like Kylo Ren at the moment. So, in relation to the moon, Mars is there. Andromeda should be past Zenith, I believe. I can check my app in just a second. It's still out right now. But we're far enough into fall now where we're going to start seeing it. It's not near the moon. Oh, don't talk. Siri's coming up. Actually, no, it's not too far off from the moon. Maybe actually, no, I was completely flipped. Oh, it's because it's earlier in the night than I expect it to be. Because usually, I haven't gotten used to coming up here as early as tonight, for example. Where Andromeda would have been, if I was up here at the same time as I've done these streams before, like 9, 10, 11 o'clock, it would have been at zenith. But my timing, my body clock is all off, and it's just going to be completely thrown off tomorrow. Maybe not as bad, though, because you get the extra hour of sleep, right? Whereas the reverse in the spring, not so great. But, yeah, it's actually just above the moon. Let's see, yeah. Mars to the right of the moon. And, yeah, Andromeda and Andromeda Galaxy just go about, there's zenith. 50 degrees, 60 degrees in altitude, maybe? Let's see what it says. That's my guess. "56 degrees in altitude, it says. And the moon is at, right now, changed pretty quick here, but right now it's at 23 degrees. So, almost double its altitude. Or more than double. Or, no, exactly double, right? I said 56. 23? Yeah, exactly double. No, that's not right. I can't think tonight. It'd be 46. So more than double. So it's pretty reasonably high up in the sky. Now, I don't think we'll be able to do this tonight because you have to wait a little while yet. But Orion will rise eventually as well. And that's an object that I really want to focus on in the winter time. However, I do have to change my setup here. Tonight, I think I can just bear it, especially with the costume, but I'm not going to be streaming as Kylo Ren every night. Although it's not the worst idea, it is very warm. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 layers, I think, altogether. So it is not bad. Very well insulated. But I think I'll have to find a better solution and potentially do some remote streaming. I can either use the ham radio station that we have here at Kopernik, which is just in the other room there in the observatory, and I can just bring a space heater, or might even be warm enough with the computer systems and the radio stations that are in there. Might be fine. I'll come back to this conversation and take a look at some of your comments as well, because I see there's a few questions again. But let me just adjust our view of the moon, because we're overexposed. And then I also want to flip, do the appropriate rotation and flip to make it more real light. Or true to life, so to speak. Yeah, once we get that shadow out of there from that last bit of branches, which we're almost over that hump, then I think we'll be set. For those that haven't seen the telescopes yet, let me know if you're interested in seeing this scope. I can bring the camera around and show you it. Just comment, and if there's anyone new that would like to see one of Kopernik's telescopes, I'd be happy to show you. This is as you can see in the title above the astro image, the moon, you can see that it's the 6-inch refractor telescope we're using again tonight. It's great for the moon and planetary objects, so we'll be in here for the evening. 14-inch would be a bit overkill for what we're doing. Let me center our view again, and I will take a look at comments next. Oh, I should set it on the moon. I don't think it is. Yeah, it's tracking stars right now. Now it'll track the moon. That's why the tracking hasn't been perfect, so we'll see if that improves any. Because we're a pretty wide field here. So that was definitely the issue. My guess. Let's see. Oh yes, thanks for the reminder, David Carter. David, I just read your name just like any other person I've seen so far. But yes, thanks, David. Yeah, if you have not subscribed to our channel, we'd love to have you for future astrophotography programs, and we have a lot of presentations, and we're looking into providing some activity videos in the future. But right now, it's mostly the astrophotos and the astro imagery and these live streams that we're doing right now, as well as our presentations from various researchers, scientists. We had our huge AstroFest program, so there's 5 or 6 presentations available to you right there that we just did last week on October 24th. That's a great program to check out. We have a playlist right on our channel, so feel free to look at those. We had some great topics of discussion focused on the search for alien life, and observing the sun safely and so on. So go check those out. But you can also subscribe to our channel for future videos, like this video that shows that you're liking the content, and it's also helpful for our future programming. So, and there's also a donation link in the video description. So if you would like to support Kopernik in that way, you're welcome to click that, and that would take you through Streamlabs. We also have some donation links on our website, which is also in the description. And you can learn more about Kopernik there. Let's see. You got to get out the lightsaber at some point. Okay. I'll put my whole getup again on again, just so I can actually fulfill the caption there that Kylo Ren is the one streaming tonight. So I'll wear that for a bit. I'm going to have trouble reading the comments, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but this shouldn't be... How do I want to do this? Okay, helmet on first. Glasses off. That's a key player there. Glasses off, helmet on, hood on. And still haven't quite gotten this scarf quite right yet, but it's hard to do when one, you don't have a mirror, and two, you're just, you're the only person. It helps to have someone with you. Okay. Should I turn off the lights? I probably should turn off the lights, right? White lights off. All red. Makes sense. Okay, ready? My lightsaber might be getting too cold. So there you go. There's definitely some temperature issues with it. Gotta get the cross guard in there. Right. There we go. Oh, I can almost make out the... Thank you. I can just make out on my phone here. Yo, that's appreciate it. The visor isn't super easy to see through. Not the worst, but in this weather it fogs up a lot with the temperature. I'll wear it for a moment. Let me know if the saber noise is annoying. I can turn it off. Probably a bit loud. This actually isn't the worst. It's actually kind of warm in here, to be honest. It's the ultimate mask, right? If only it had a true respirator, like the movies. Let me know if you're dressed up as something tonight. I'd love to hear what you dressed up as. I think things like this, during these social distancing, the time of social distancing, and, well, really physical distancing, and where Halloween definitely isn't the same this year as it's been in the past. Even if you're just at home, if you have a costume, why not throw it on, right? Something to lift everyone's spirits and have some fun. It says, Timbale says, Kylo Jer. Oh, I see that, yep. Yeah, that's true. That's a missed opportunity. I need you to I wish I had you to recommend that earlier. Should have put, because at least then it would have been like, oh, it's still Jeremy streaming. Would have been a little more identifiable. And still 3 letters, it would have worked well. Would have fit in that space nicely. Fortunately, I can't change it live on the stream. That's too bad. Someone, the Lost Trombone. Oh, I love that name too. Lost Trombone. I used to play trombone. Yeah, back in high school. Says he's a plague doctor. Oh, I guess that's a somewhat appropriate, right? Yeah, well, I think I have enough new people in here. Why don't I do my little intro for a moment? We'll go back to the moon in just a second, because I think I see a lot of new names coming in. So I'll do my intro again that I had for Kylo Ren. You mentioned I should crank up the audio to distort it. I don't really have many options on Streamlabs to do that. The mixer isn't the Windows mixer, and you can add a lot of plugins to it, but on Mac it's not as good. So instead I had a pre-processed thing, and I can play that for you for those that missed it. And I'll try and act it out like I did earlier. Let me go back to this. Here you go.
Good evening, Resistance conspirators and Jedi zealots. Perhaps I'm not who you were expecting tonight, but I regret to inform you that your regularly scheduled program has been commandeered by the First Order. Your host astronomer has been accused of collaborating with the Resistance, and is therefore indisposed at the moment. So now, you are left with me. To start things off, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Halloween. I'm not acclimated to your Earth-based customs yet, but as I understand it, this is a day where the dark side reigns supreme. I'm quite eager to take part in the festivities. Now, I believe tonight you are going to observe some astronomical phenomenon. Lucky for you, I still see value in this. If the First Order is to occupy your planet, it's in my best interest to familiarize myself with your star system. Incidentally, it appears to be an ideal night for this endeavor. Atmospheric conditions look promising, and I've just been informed that your tidally locked satellite is at full illumination. It will be a great opportunity to study its surface and determine its viability as our next battle station. So welcome everyone to this hollow stream on Halloween. Feel free to send communications to your Supreme Leader throughout the show. I look forward to speaking with you. Now, let's go and inspect this object you call the moon.
There we go. Now we're back. So like I said, it's pre-processed audio. I could not modulate it. I wish I could, because that would have been fun to just get live stuff going. But there's quite a few new things I've added to the stream this time. So, did what I can. I did what I could, I guess. I'm going to put this on the ground a little bit better. It's all over the place. Okay. I'll adjust the view of the moon here. Take my mask off for now. Oh, it really was warm in there though. That was nice. I'll probably be returning to that as the night goes on. It's a good, sort of self-sustaining heater. Using human power just to build up a little bit of an atmosphere inside the mask, a warmer atmosphere. The things we do for astronomy, yes. We gotta have some fun. At least on Halloween. While we're having a good clear night, you gotta have some fun. Yes, Kylo Ren mask. It is. It's not. It's pretty nice. I'll return to that video from time to time. I wish it wasn't the same thing over and over, but for any new people that show up during the stream, I'll be happy to play it again. Again, I wish I could have done a point where I could have just flipped a switch and gotten the audio to modulate live. But it was not a trivial endeavor to do that through Streamlabs. Maybe next year. I can't really see another reason to do that in the near future. It'll probably just be me in the observatory like normal. As comfortable as this costume is. Let me go ahead and adjust the moon again. One will center it. Let's see here, down and to the left. Oh, and I gotta make sure that I'll make sure I rotate it this time. We could do with a little bit less exposure again. Guess that's as far as I can go. Gotta collect some data tonight too, because I don't have any good new data on a full moon. So we'll make sure I get that as well. There's a nice breeze tonight, which is also a good reason why I'll probably go back in the mask from time to time. I think I'm gonna miss it in other streams. Gotta move the dome too. Let's do a little bit of focusing now that we're out of the trees. That's pretty good. You're really getting a good sense of the non-perfectly rounded surface of the moon if you look carefully. It should be coming over in the stream. Towards the top right now, there's a nice mountain ridge. All around the moon, there's really points where you can see it's not, of course, a perfect circle or a perfect sphere. I mean, it's evident by the craters all across it, like Tycho and everything, the Mare, the other mountain ranges. But when you look around the edges, the very outside, you can actually notice some non-uniformity, some mountain ranges. Ah, yes. Thank you, Dave. I'm going to flip that here. I just got to make sure I select the right one. And let's see. We got to do a... Now, you might see some of the interface come through for a moment, but I'll adjust that as needed. Can I rotate it in here? Oh, I can. Let me do a rotate here. That's not too bad. Whoa, that's really zoomed in. Might be a bit too far zoomed in. Okay. Maybe we should just do a rotate in Streamlabs. Oh, let me go down. Come on. For some reason, it's not letting me edit the... Why did it not let me edit? It might be because it's too cold. I'm having trouble with the input on the computer. Oh, it looks like we just passed 800 subscribers within the past however I've been streaming, however long. So thank you to those that have subscribed to the channel. Looks like we're at 807 now, which is great. We've had some good momentum there. So if anyone is new to the channel and would like to see more streaming videos like this, where it's sort of a Q&A session, it's an opportunity to talk with amongst like-minded individuals about astronomy and science, feel free to hit the subscribe button, and if you're liking the content right now, hit the like button as well. That really does help support us. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers because it does unlock features to us, and it also there are some financial areas we can explore too once we hit 1,000 subscribers to help continue to support Kopernik and these programs that we're doing. So it really does help us out with subscriptions and liking the video. Of course, I'm here to answer any questions, any comments. You know, I like to just chat with you during these streams, so feel free to put whatever you like in the live chat. And let's see. Lorna says, "What data are you collecting on the full moon?" So it's just when I say data, all I mean is just image data. And I'll be collecting, in this case, it would be 4K resolution image data, so that later I can go through and take that data to stack it. So I'll get rid of a lot of the noise that's coming from our atmosphere, and I'll end up with a far clearer picture than even what you're seeing right now. It's not too bad right now by any means, but by stacking, you get rid of a significant amount of atmospheric noise, and you collect a lot more detail across the full image of the moon. Whereas otherwise, at any given point, there is more. Now I want to say this. There's some lost data because the atmosphere is hazy in that area. And then in another area it's clear. But then they might switch. Or it just might be a new area. So to make up for that, you can take all that image data, stack it, and get a really good image out of it all. So I usually post the final results on Facebook. And there is a link for our our Facebook page in the description as well, if you wanted to follow us there. I think we usually try to post on Instagram and Twitter as well, and those are all in the description. Oh, thank you, Tish. Yeah, it was originally destined for a con. But no, it's not super practical at the moment. So I found a use case for it, though. I might go back in the mask in a few minutes. We'll see. How's the stream, everyone? I think I've stopped dropping frames for the most part. That might have been the connection issue I was having earlier, and it's since subsided. Let me know if it's stuttering at all, though, and I'll try my best to fix that for you. Whoa, that's too... ISO is too high. Bring that down. There we go. It's still overexposed. That's getting a little bit better. The automatic ISO was even still too high. That's sort of a measure of the sensitivity of the sensor to light at a given time. So it was at like, I'd imagine it was above 10,000 for some reason because it was set to auto. So it was just trying to determine what's most important in this image. I just made it so I can control that. So we're looking better now. The shutter speed is as good as I can get it. Of course, I don't have an aperture because I'm just directly exposing the sensor. It's not passing through a lens system beyond the lens of the telescope. So the aperture of the camera is effectively the aperture of the scope itself. So it's a 6-inch diameter lens, and that's what's going into the camera. So you can't control that unless you switch a telescope. And what else about that? I had a train of thought. It was going somewhere. So you can change the shutter speed, and I can change the ISO. But the aperture is not changeable unless I switch it to another scope. I could change the aperture in part with the I could lower the moonlight with a filter. That's a possibility. I could put a filter in between the camera and the telescope, and that would reduce the light from the moon. That's one option. Or you can also reduce the aperture through the lens cap. You can actually just take off one part. I'll show you here. You can reduce the light. Here's the lens cap. Let me make sure let's see. Yeah, there we go. And you can pop out this top section. And why can't you see anything? I meant to line it up with the light. There we go. So you can see there's a hole in it now. So that's probably, like a 4-inch, 3.5-inch diameter hole now. 4-inch, I think. Looks like it's 2 inches lost on each side. Or 1 inch lost on each side, equating to 2 inches. So you go from 6-inch to 4-inch, effectively, for the aperture. Robercon is another good, actually what I was considering for my first go. It's because it was local, but I just haven't had the chance, and of course this year it was all virtual. Lost Trombone says, did you get it as a whole costume or did you buy pieces individually? So a lot of the costume is sort of one kit, I guess. A significant portion of it is like there's two tunics, I guess. There's the inside where I don't know how well it comes across camera, but the inside has the sort of layered arms, and then the top portion is this really thick cloth fabric. I'm not sure exactly what it's made out of. It's probably synthetic, to be honest, or at least like some mix, cotton synthetic mix. But it's nice and heavy. That's what's keeping me warm right now. And then it has this belt here as well, which is it's a pretty decent replica. It's not terrible. It's pleather, but the actual metal chunk on the front, I don't even know what you call it. The Canon name for it would be. It's sort of just a neat design. That's a good replica of what's in the movie, though. So that came with it, the gloves, the scarf, everything like that. The helmet, though, the lightsaber, I had to get my own pants, boots, things like that. And I made some modifications to it to improve accuracy. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Nicholas. Thanks for the update, just to make sure things are running well here. We're still having some trouble tracking the moon, but it's not as bad as it was because we're actually tracking it fully now. Again, as I mentioned, this is a really wide angle field of view. Oh, you know what? Also, we gotta move the dome now. That noise was the dome moving. Again, if there's anyone new to the stream, I won't do it if most people that have seen the streams have previously have seen this scope. But if you would like to, if you're new to the stream and would like to see the scope up close, I'd be happy to do that for you. Just let me know in the chat, and we can run through that. Tish says, "Do you plan to observe Mars tonight?" I do want to observe Mars. I'll wait for it to get higher up in the sky, because of course with the moon, it really doesn't make too much of a difference. If you're imaging, it will, but it's so close to us and there's so much detail already. I'm not too worried about it for my purposes of collecting information tonight. Mars is a different story, though. You do want to make sure Mars is higher up in the sky to do some imaging, because you get it out of that atmosphere and you end up getting a lot more detail. My guess is tonight we might end up with a better sky and a better seeing than our stream during the opposition. The only problem, though, is we do have a breeze, and when we did our first Mars stream, we lost a lot of quality because the image was bouncing around so much from the wind. And there's not much I can do about that, of course. The telescope's as firmly mounted as can be in this dome. It has a separate from the platform I'm on. There's a concrete structure going straight down below the telescope to the ground. So it's mounted as sturdy as possible, but if the wind's strong enough, any telescope will get blown around unless it's a really big one. Trying to figure out where I left. Talked about Mars. Yeah, Lornaz, we are incredibly close to the PA border, New York PA border, I guess you should call it. Yeah, it's super close. Looks like we have some people interested in seeing the scope. So I will show the scope in just a second. I'm trying to decide if I want to run inside and take a very brief break. Go to the moon and drink some chocolate milk. I'm not sure. Again, I really wanted to try and get things a little better aligned here, but I don't know why it's not letting me do that. It's so strange. Is it something to do with it being on this screen instead of this one? Let me try this. No. It just doesn't want me to adjust it. Can I adjust other ones? I think it's just a Streamlabs issue right now. Usually I'd be able to rotate the image of the moon so we could get it more realistic, but it's not working tonight. It seems like it's a software issue. It's just getting hung up on itself. And it's not. I might be able to try something a bit later, but I'm not going to mess with it too much. I don't want to lose the stream. I figured out how to retrieve the stream once, or revive it, I guess, once we figure out how to revive it once we lose it because of connection issues, but I keep losing I think it's the cold. It's getting in my head. Yeah. I figured out it has something to do with the stream keys, and you just have to input the stream key again. it's not like the stream totally shut down. I've been able to revive it before, so I'm not too worried about that. So if that does happen, which I don't expect it to tonight, things have been mostly stable the past few weeks. Just know that I'll be returning unless I say otherwise. Okay, I'm going to do a telescope tour in just a second. I'm just going to take a brief break here. It'll be like 2 minutes, and then I'll be back to show you the 6-inch. So stay tuned. I'll leave the moon up, of course, for you. Okay, I have returned. I am in a hood. I have brought a pumpkin here because I know this was very popular on Facebook over the past 24 hours, 2 days or so. When we posted it, let me turn the lights off here. You can see this is our Kopernik pumpkin. I'll bring it out a little bit further. You can see there's constellations all across it. And it's lit up like this. I'll show you it in the dark here and then I'll bring it back in the light. You can see there's constellations all across it. They are real constellations. Like here is W, Cassiopeia, right there. Turn the light on here. See, it's also Kopernik blue. Maybe get some better lighting. And there's just about every northern constellation. Cygnus the Swan. This one here. Ooh. I think it's also somewhat aligned, like where you'd expect to see them in the sky. So up towards the north of the pumpkin, there is the Little Dipper. We'll see the Big Dipper. But it's really cool. I can't remember the place where we got it from. It's not something we carved this year, and it's like a permanent pumpkin. It's not a real pumpkin. But it's pretty neat. So I'll leave this in here to, if I put it on the stairs, would it show? I don't think so. The camera's not wide field enough. But I'll put it on the stairs for now. Something I learned about pumpkins recently, that supposedly they evolved for only really giant mammals to eat, but they've stuck around because we've baked them into our agriculture. I was gonna say domesticated, but you don't domesticate a pumpkin. I wish I could tell you who made it. We've had it for either last year we got it or 2 years ago we got it. But I think we got it from another museum. Might have made it for us or donated it to us. I wish I could remember. If Tish or Drew or anyone are still in the chat, maybe they can let us know. But it's nice that it's a permanent one. You can just keep it around. It's sort of multi-seasonal too. Like still the fall, but we can keep it out to the winter. Pumpkins are still Thanksgiving and Christmassy, I guess. Okay, so let's do a telescope tour. Like I promised, I won't do it as Kylo Ren. Maybe we'll do another Kylo Ren thing in a few minutes. Or at least I'll just put the mask on. But let me show you the scope here. Bring the camera up. So there's the top of the scope. Right over here. I'm not quite that tall. But right up here, here's my ungloved hand. Right up here is the top. And that's where the 6-inch lens is housed. So it's a 6-inch aperture scope. It's a 6-inch diameter lens. So it is a refractor telescope. So that means when refractors, they use lens. They actually they use lenses. They actually, when the light comes through them, they're of course transparent, but the way the glass is shaped, it will bend the light. You can do a similar thing with a mirror using reflection, where the mirror would be slightly curved and it would form the light into a cone shape. The same thing is happening here, where you're bringing that light to a focus. You've effectively captured let me bring myself into view here. 6 inches, 6-inch circle of light, and you can think of that. The way I always like to frame it is if you think of the aperture of your eye, which is your pupil, that's really tiny. You can improve the resolution by increasing aperture. We can only do that so much. That's your pupil will dilate, right? So when it's in the dark, it lets more light in because it needs more information. But then in the bright sun, it's going to contract because it doesn't need as much light coming through the eye. And it can also damage your eye if you get too much light input. So what we can do is use tools like telescopes to increase our pupil size. And in doing that, we get higher resolution views of objects in the sky or even objects along the ground too. So that's the 6-inch. I can show you the camera system we have working too. Just give me 1 second to reboot my feed here from my phone. There we go. We are at 808 subscribers now. Awesome. Okay, so the camera system I have going here, down at the bottom of the scope, that's enough, I think, yep. So here's the bottom of the scope where the eyepiece would usually be, right here. And the camera is hooked into that eyepiece area. There's no eyepiece between the telescope and the camera itself. It's just all lens to, it's in a right angle now just for my ease of use. Lens to right angle, which is just a diagonal mirror that's reflecting the light 90 degrees into the camera system. And the camera is a Sony a7 III mirrorless camera, and it's a very sensitive camera. It's great for deep sky objects, but it's also great for planetary or the moon, which we're using it for tonight. It's a very high resolution camera too. I think it's something like 24 megapixels, and the stream you're receiving. Actually, yeah, the stream you're receiving should just be the full 24 megapixels. It should be full resolution, at least local here, and then when it's streamed over the web through YouTube, it's going to be downgraded, of course. It's going to be compressed, but at least the full amount of information is being put into Streamlabs and then downscaled to 1080p. We should be streaming at 1080p tonight. I think I adjusted that setting. So it might look better than previous streams. I'm hoping. Let me know if you can. Actually, I guess I can figure it out myself here. Yeah, we are able to. It is in 1080p. I'm going to keep it at my 720 because I don't need it to run more than that. Yeah. I don't want to clog the data here. I don't need to watch my own stream. I'm doing it live here. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, Mars is getting up there. Thinking Mars will be a target shortly. Oh, let me adjust your view of the moon. I should really start recording some data sooner rather than later on the moon. Yeah, Alex, the Wi-Fi is not too pretty. We just got an upgrade actually on our internet here not too long ago. It was very just because it wasn't our, I guess, the local provider. or I guess it doesn't matter too much. But anyways, we got an upgrade in the speed, so it's actually making it possible for us to do these streams, whereas before I'm not sure if it would have worked out, at least over Wi-Fi. Through direct connection, I think it would have been fine, but I don't think we had enough bandwidth on the Wi-Fi to accomplish that. Drew, our director here at Kopernik, answered the pumpkin question. So pumpkin was donated to Kopernik a few years ago. It was part of a contest at the Discovery Center, which is another local science center. Used to love going there, as well as Kopernik. This area has a great amount of resources, like science centers, museums. There's the Roberson Museum, Discovery Center, Kopernik Observatory. I'm missing one. Ross Park Zoo. Still called I think it's still called it, or is it just called the Binghamton Zoo? I guess it's just called the Binghamton Zoo now. But lots of good STEM resources in this area. It was nice of them to donate it to us. All right, I'm gonna jump back into my. I think the problem right now is I'm backlit. I'm trying to think. Can I move myself over enough where I can rectify that? There's no white light. All the white light's literally behind me, but this is how in most cases, this is how I have to set up. I'm such a dark figure, it'd be nice if I could avoid backlighting myself. Let me think. Let me inch things over this way. Well, let me think about where the telescope is going to move. We're going to swing around that way, so I'll have to move the ladder that way. I wonder if I have enough give. Shift myself over there. This is sort of the sweet spot in the dome as far as the avoiding the ladder as the telescope rotates around. Sorry, the camera's over here. I want to avoid the ladder as the telescope rotates. What if I put the camera right? Well, the telescope is sort of hidden, but what if I put it right here? How does that look? Let me move mine here. Oops. Doing some moving here. Bear with me a sec. Frame my shot a little better. Ah, yes, that's looking better. Don't want to be in the shadow. Now I can monitor my camera feed. Yeah, there we go. How's that? Now I'm not such a backlit dark figure, and you can see me. Where'd my comment feed go? I lost it. Yeah, Lorna, the A7s are incredible. That please stand by at the beginning of the stream that I had was image of the Milky Way. Wasn't the best night to take it, but there was no moon at least, so all the light there is just from any subtle lights in Pennsylvania, which are pretty dim, and then the light of the sky. It was incredible how much light it can actually pick up. Most of the glow is of course from man-made light in that image, but hi Stacy. Yes, happy to have you in the stream here, and yeah, we're happy to be streaming you tonight. The moon, the blue moon. Oh, let's see. Zakonic. Does anyone know of any myths or legends that occur during the blue moon on Halloween? I don't know if there's any direct myths, because it is such a rare sort of thing, at least under the definition that I refer to it as. But it is a blue moon either way tonight on Halloween. My definition I'm using, again, is the more astronomical definition, which isn't even that significant. It's just that you have 2 full moons within the same month. So in October, you get 2 full moons. One was on October 1st or 2nd, and then the next one tonight on October 31st. Actually, to be specific, the full moon was at 10 a.m. today, but it still looks full. But the exact moment of full moon was at 10 a.m. But as far as any mythology behind the blue moon on Halloween, there really should be something. But again, because it's so rare, I don't know if there is any. We can come up with our own story. The spooky story of Kylo Ren here. Without my mask, I definitely don't look like Adam Driver. At all. Trying to recenter our field of view here. I'm not doing so bad, Michelle. Better than I, considering the temperature, and the previous streams, even during Mars opposition. Actually, I'm not sure. That night might have been okay. But one of the previous streams, either way, was pretty cold. But I didn't have this super heavy, multi-layered costume on. So that's really helping me out in terms of keeping warm. And in fact, I might put on the mask again for a bit before we transition to Mars, warm myself up a bit, and also fulfill the Halloween goal tonight. I'll bring the lightsaber back out too, why not? We'll have some fun. This scarf, though, I gotta like sew to the costume or something because it flies all over the place. Gotta take my glasses off. I'll be able to still pay attention to the chat, so if you would like to converse, I'll be around. If you have questions. Take a look here. Yep, I can still see it. Oh, I gotta put my hood back on, right? I don't think I have that on right now. Hood back up. Oh, that's a scarf. It's very difficult to do this when you don't have... I guess I sort of have a mirror now with the camera, but it's hard to see if I'm getting it just perfect. There we go. How's that? I can do my best impression of Adam Driver, but I don't have the modulator on my mask. Actually, there is one, but it's terrible, so I'm not going to use it. Oh, Zakonic, that's a That's a scary one. That'd be a good story to tie in with the Halloween blue moon. See if I can get my paper to work. There we go. We'll be a little spooky here. We'll do our own Halloween story. How's that? You can sort of see it reflecting off my mask. It's not perfect, but this is the best way to get the fun glow effect. Got to overexpose the camera to get the actual white of the blade. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, Steve, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, because I wanted to theme this stream tonight somehow. It's Halloween. So I wanted to make sure we did something for it. And I think it would be maybe not wrong, but improper, I guess, to not come in a costume. And I think Kylo Ren is scary enough. So I had this costume already. I'm like, let's do this. This is as scary as you can get, maybe. Maybe not so scary when I'm just trying to read comments here. Saw a play of it in school when I was 7th grade. I saw and heard it. Interesting. I can't say let me read the story one more time. I can't say it rings a bell, that one. It's not one I'm familiar with off the top of my head. But it is certainly spooky. Good spooky Halloween story. We're getting some good background in the chat here. Very good. All right, let me do, since we're talking about stories here, I do have my one story that I set up as an intro for this program. It's my own personal, I guess, blue moons. It's not really personal. It's just something I came up with today to fit with my costume. So let's go ahead and play that again as we think about transitioning to Mars in just a little bit. We'll have another intro. I gotta get the mouse over here. Let's see. There it is. I'll try and act it out again.
Good evening, Resistance conspirators and Jedi zealots. Perhaps I'm not who you were expecting tonight, but I regret to inform you that your regularly scheduled program has been commandeered by the First Order. Your host astronomer has been accused of collaborating with the Resistance, and is therefore indisposed at the moment. So now, you're left with me. To start things off, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Halloween. I'm not acclimated to your Earth-based customs yet, but as I understand it, this is a day where the dark side reigns supreme. I'm quite eager to take part in the festivities. Now, I believe tonight you are going to observe some astronomical phenomenon. Lucky for you, I still see value in this. If the First Order is to occupy your planet, it's in my best interest to familiarize myself with your star system. Incidentally, it appears to be an ideal night for this endeavor. Atmospheric conditions look promising, and I've just been informed that your tidally locked satellite is at full illumination. It will be a great opportunity to study its surface and determine its viability as our next battle station. So welcome everyone to this hollow stream on Halloween. Feel free to send communications to your Supreme Leader throughout the show. I look forward to speaking with you. Now, let's go and inspect this object you call the moon.
There we go. We're back in business. Fun little story break. Again, for those that are new here, I wish I could modulate my voice constantly, but that was a pre-processed thing I had to do. There's not an easy or non-trivial way to do modulation in Streamlabs on Mac from at least from my research. I'll have to find some workarounds for that. Although I think this is like a very unique use case. I don't think I would need modulation again until next Halloween, if that. Alright, let's see what's right here. I like the mythology and the stories that are being passed around in the chat. It's good to have some background or just some spooky stories to tell. I'm not beyond that little short blurb. I don't have many particular spooky stories. This mask is keeping me warm though, which is much appreciated. Building my own little personal atmosphere inside the helmet here. Self-heated. How's Mars doing in the sky? I can't quite see it in the mask. Just barely. Alright, we'll take the helmet off here for another moment. Whew. Okay. Now I can see the chat better. Stacy. Stacy asks, would it be true that every full moon on Halloween would be a blue moon? That's a great question. Let me think. Yeah, I think you're right. Because it would have to be, yeah, because it's October, well, yeah, if it's October 31st, you backtrack the 28 days that you need for an orbit of the moon, it has to fall in October, right? Whew. So, I can't think of a way around that. You go 28 days from, 28 days from October into November. You're towards the end of November. You backtrack 28 days. You're still in October. So no matter what way you slice it, yeah, you will end up with a blue moon in every 19 years in October, because there's a full moon every 19 years in October. You're right. Got buzzing going on. So yeah, the next one is in 2039. Is the next full moon, blue moon during Halloween. Just again, not much astronaut. Like if this was a super moon happening on Halloween, that'd be a different story. But like as far as in the astronomical sense, but really the cool part about this is you have a full moon, a spooky full moon on Halloween. So not much astronomical relevance, but it's still timely. And it won't be a full moon, a fun full moon, until 2039 again for Halloween. So I appreciate that aspect of it, which is why I'm doing this stream here and why we're mostly focused on the moon tonight. It's a good opportunity to, because a lot of times we are focused on other things at Kopernik as far as imaging goes. Let me see if I can get the view better again. We really like deep sky objects here. We like to focus on the planets. The moon, a lot of the time, is just something that almost gets in our way. And that seems maybe not the right way to look at it, because it does get out of your way for 2.5 weeks or so for observing. You have plenty of opportunities to observe dimmer stuff during that time frame, but it becomes inconvenient during that other week and a half or so. So right now we can still observe planets. We can't realistically do much successful imaging on deep sky objects just because the sky is so overexposed and blown out. So it's a good opportunity to put our time into observing the moon and to focus on it. We already did do a little bit of that last month during almost a month ago, or over a month ago, when we did International Observe the Moon Night. We had a huge program for that too. But this is just another good opportunity. Next time, we will focus on deep sky objects as we approach a new moon. We get to some nice darker skies. The nice part about the being in the fall and heading into winter is we get more so the nice part for astronomers, not the day-to-day life, is that it gets darker earlier, and we have the chance to observe earlier in the evening and get some deep sky stuff imaged before the moon comes out, things like that. So that's a nice opportunity for astronomy. Not so fun especially after tomorrow, right? When we set our clocks back an extra hour of sleep. But for me at least, that's always so fleeting. Like, I'd prefer just to keep my schedule, and also I'm sort of two minds with the astronomy conflict and just the day-to-day daylight. But I mean, you're in the northern hemisphere and you're up in we're 42 degrees latitude. You have to expect the the days ending early. At least we're not at the North Pole, right? Trying to get through the comments here that I missed. I guess I'll just backtrack. Alex asks, "Is this a family-friendly stream?" So, with regard to the content I'm putting out, yes. I keep my content that I'm delivering family-friendly. I don't have and always have a moderator in the chat though, so I don't have the ability to always keep on top of the chat. If something shows up there. In the future, that's something we'd love to do, where we do have a constant moderator in the chat. But at least my content, if you just turned off the chat, it would all be family friendly. Looks like we have some more people in the stream. Welcome. I am dressed as Kylo Ren tonight. I sort of look just like a dark figure in general, and I have this big hood. I have my mask down here. I do not look like Adam Driver without... in order to be Kylo Ren, I have to have my mask on. I might eventually put it back on in a bit. But those that are new, we'd like to welcome you. This is Kopernik Observatory and Science Center. We're an observatory in Vestal, New York. And we are streaming the blue moon to you tonight. We might also do some planets. Unfortunately, this stream is sort of designed around the moon, though, so I'd like to do that. But the more I think about it, I'm not sure when we'll get to it exactly if we do tonight. Because it does involve switching out the cameras in the scope, which I'm okay with. But I would need consensus in the chat that most people are ready to go to Mars. So for now, I'm going to leave it on the blue moon, at least for a little bit, unless I hear otherwise. We do live stream observing programs like this pretty regularly. In fact, in November, we're expecting to do a deep sky stream where we get some with the same camera I have going now, we're going to get some deep sky views of galaxies and nebula, star clusters. Really excited for that. That'll be our first successful deep sky stream. We tried one before and it didn't super work out, but I have a solution now that I've tested. So that's coming up. So if you want to stay updated, please subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and we'd love for you to help us out with that. And also, if you're enjoying the content, like the video. When we get to 1,000, we do unlock some good features on YouTube that will make it more interactive for you, as well as also bring in some ad revenue for us. Not a significant amount, but a little, it's something to support Kopernik, another option. So if you would like to donate to us and support us monetarily, that is also in the video description. There's a link there where it's a Streamlabs link that lets you donate through that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them in the chat. That is what I'm here for as the as your live stream astronomer here at Kopernik. Let's see. Oh, I missed some questions here. I'm sorry. Steve says, wait, this telescope image is sharp. Is that water on the light side? Yeah, they did. I mean, there was that news piece about finding more water on the moon. that NASA announced, they use the SOFIA telescope that's built into a 747 that gets way above the atmosphere, and it allows you to do some spectroscopy and get more data and enough data not ruined by our own water-dense atmosphere, relatively water-dense atmosphere. So they were actually able to detect some more actual water on the moon. And it's actually individual molecules that are trapped within crystals. Can't remember what the crystals are made out of now, off the top of my head, but the water molecules are in between the lattice of these crystals, and that is very intriguing and compelling if you can somehow retrieve that water. And that was sort of the results of that stream, is like, can we make use of that? Because there is a lot. They've detected a fair amount of water through those crystals. It's not ice, and it's not liquid water, because that can't exist on the surface. It's actual embedded within these rocky crystals, individual molecules embedded in them, separated out. So if you can somehow recover that water, then you can use it during human missions, which they're always looking for options to do. Whether they can successfully do that or not is up in the air. So we can't see that in this image. We certainly see maybe the potentially the rocks or areas on the moon where the rocks are that have these water molecules embedded in them, but we don't have any visible water, I'll say. Good question. The dark spots that you're seeing on the moon are the mare, or the seas, and those seas are cooled lava plains. So at one point, when the moon was forming and past formation, there was some activity and these lava plains, and they eventually cooled down, and now you get these dark patches on the moon. And those are just the uncratered ones. There were even more than that in the past, but those are uncratered and, well, not completely uncratered, of course, but somewhat undisturbed compared to its surrounding area. Like if you look just to the lower left, you see that big impact crater. That's crater Tycho. And that has a huge ejecta pattern. The ejecta is the material that flies out and across the surface of the moon and lands. So that has a huge ejecta pattern that really reaches far across. And that should make some sense, especially for a larger impact like that, because you have lower gravity on the moon. So that material is actually going to be able to fly up further. And some of it even reaches escape velocity, meaning it can actually escape the moon's orbit, which is pretty neat. Let's see if I can adjust our view here. Go, a little bit more centered now. Now, I also want to mention, for those just joining, if you see the edge of the moon there, look toward you see the circle of the moon, you'll notice it's not a perfect circle. You can actually see some mountain ranges, especially towards the top. That makes it a non-uniform circle. It's not perfect. And that's just like the Earth. We have mountain ranges all across the Earth, that on a larger scale, we are a sphere, but on the human scale, you actually see the mountains and you see the deformities. It's really just like, you think of even a bouncy ball. If you could shrink yourself down, to a microscopic level, you would see there are that it's non-uniform. That there's all these, polyclusters all around the surface, and that it's pretty rough when you get down to the microscopic level. And it's the same idea. You're just dealing with scale. So on a larger scale, it looks like a sphere, but if you get close, you have these ridges all across the surface. All right, I have some other questions here. Yeah, Steve, I sort of talked about that a little bit in my first answer, but yeah, just to I guess add more to that. If they can make use of it during like the Artemis missions, for instance, they're looking into it now. If they can actually extract that water material, those water molecules from that crystal lattice, then you have some potential to use it on your mission and maybe use it as a waypoint to Mars. It all depends on how the infrastructure of the Earth, Moon, Mars system goes. But it's possible, yeah. The nice part is there's water on Mars that might even be more retrievable than the water that's on the Moon. So that's a good sign too. But it's just brilliant what we can figure out still about the Moon. And that wasn't even discovered by going there or looking at the rocks that returned during the Apollo missions. That was just a telescope on a 747 jet, the Sophia telescope. And just by using that and getting above the atmosphere, they were able to detect that water, which is brilliant. All right, I see some more interest in Mars. I'll gauge the audience in just a second. How much longer till the blue moon, you think? Well, we are technically, I guess, if your question is until the blue moon, it is the blue moon right now, I guess. For the majority of the night, you would consider it a blue moon. The full moon was technically at 10 a.m. today, but it's basically full tonight, so it's still considered a full moon. But technically, we're past the waxing of the moon and we're going into the waning, meaning we're losing light now. Very slowly, and it happens over the course of, to get to new moon, it's half a month, 14 days. So to get to full moon or new moon, it's going to take some time, but right now we are waning. Technically, we're starting to lose that light. Okay, it's getting chilly. All right, let me gauge the chat here. We have 27 people watching right now, which is great. Thank you all for joining us. 29 people watching. If anyone is new to the channel and would like to subscribe, we'd love to have you, and especially join us in future streams like this one. Like I said, we're doing deep sky objects later in November, as we approach new moon and get some good dark skies again. So look out for that. And if you're enjoying the content, like the video as well. We really appreciate your support. And we have a donation link in the video description if you are in a position to support Kopernik through monetary means. Any help helps us continue to run programs like this, helps fund our educators and the observatory itself and keep things going. So thank you. 810 subscribers. Cool. I'm glad we crossed that waypoint. As I said, we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers because it unlocks some cool features for us and opportunities. Okay, let me gauge the chat here. Alexander says they are new. Welcome, Alexander. Happy to have you in the chat here. We have a bunch of people. We're talking about a bunch of different topics, and that's one nice thing about these streams is that we have an opportunity to communicate about astronomy, about science, sort of treat it like a forum, and an opportunity to just talk about some current event stuff, like we just talked about the water on the moon, which is relevant to our imaging here, and what else? We've been talking about the blue moon that we're having tonight. So feel free to chime in with those in the chat. I'm happy to answer any questions you have for me. I am I'm the live stream astronomer here at Kopernik. Tonight I'm dressed as Kylo Ren. Earlier we agreed that maybe my actual name is Jeremy Carty. So we were I had a missed opportunity where someone said I should have put down on the window there Kylo Jer or something. So that was fun, but missed that. So tonight I'm dressed as Kylo Ren, which you really can't tell unless I put the helmet on and complete the look. Right now I'm just using my costume for warmth at the moment, but I thought I should dress up for the occasion tonight since we have a nice full moon on Halloween, which only happens every 19 years. All right, I'm seeing some more interest in Mars. Yeah, it's getting pretty chilly now. It's getting quite chilly. So I think before I go to Mars, because switching the telescope over with the camera and everything is going to involve touching the telescope, and the telescope right now is about freezing temperature. And because it's mostly metallic, it will pull the heat out of my skin very quickly. And even at this temperature, which is probably only 32 degrees right now, something like that, even at this temperature, it is risky to touch it for too long directly. And I have gloves, but some stuff you don't have the tactility to do safely without damaging anything. I feel safer when I have the tactility there. So I will have to go inside and warm up to prepare for that, but the nice thing is I can leave the moon running, and I can also answer questions inside on my phone. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I will be out of view. Actually, I should put that overlay here. Let me see if I can add that overlay. The Be Right Back overlay on my stream, my camera feed. Where is my mouse? And this way I can also tell people that we'll be moving to Mars shortly. Text source I need. Even my laptop is hard to use. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to take my break inside and warm up a bit. I wish I could remote in the camera. I'm going to look into doing that for the next stream because I will most certainly need it as we head into November. And I probably will I'll either remote in through Zoom so I can still talk to you, or I'll just do a remote desktop stream. I just don't want to bog down the internet too much. So I'm going to figure out what'll work best, do some testing beforehand. Let me answer any final questions here before I... I have some good comments here. Before I head inside. And again, we'll be back, but we'll go to Mars next. 9:39, so yeah, okay. Maybe I'll put the time in there. I just looked outside. I can't see the moon. Let me know where you are, Alexander, because it might just not be visible at the moment. You might still be waiting for it to rise up. Here on the east coast of the United States, we are able to see it It's pretty high up in the sky. And if you're in the west coast, it might not be there yet. Because you're 3 hours. Yeah, if you're all the way over to the west coast, you'd be 3 hours behind. But I'm just assuming things. If you're within the U.S., you might be somewhere else in the world. But that's just to give you some frame of reference on my thoughts. Texas, okay. So is that 2 hours behind or 1 hour behind? I can look when I go inside. I can definitely look to see where it should be. If it's above your horizon yet, or if you're still waiting for it. It's pretty high up here though, so I would think it'd be at least just rising. Maybe that's where you're at now, and it's just taking some time. It'll just take a little bit more time to get above your tree line or your skyline and so on. I do like this comment. It was Tasha says, "Hold the lightsaber close. It should warm up the telescope." Yes, that'd be nice. What else do we have here? Oh wow, you're braver than me, Zakonic. Ooh, it's just making me colder just thinking about. I'm too cold in what I'm in right now, and it's not even. What is the temperature right now? Okay, it's 30. Oh no, it says 32 degrees. I will say, we talked about this in previous streams. Being in the telescope dome here does have an effect on my body heat because it's made of metal. A lot of it's made of metal. A lot of it's made of concrete, and those are both really good thermal conductors. So, and as the convection around the room too, the air is a good insulator. So at least that's somewhat helping me. But the metal just wants to pull all the heat out of the air and out of me, especially if I directly touch it. Same with the concrete. So it's not the air inside domes is very still and very cold. Incidentally, there's also a breeze tonight, which is affecting my body temperature too. But I'm still not a cold person most of the time. The thing is, astronomy is best when it is cold, at least in this area, because I have the driest weather this time of year during cold weather, and the atmosphere is very stable during our winter season. So it's preferable, but for imaging and for visual astronomy, but it's not ideal for being inside the dome. Clouds, rain, etc. could also cause minor. Yeah, yeah. Are we talking in terms of the Texas? It's 8:40 in Texas. Okay. Like I said, I'll check inside and do a location switch on my phone, on the planetarium app I have to see where it is. Oh, Nicholas actually answered. Moon is at 17 degrees in Texas. Oh, that's interesting. There's 2 counties in Texas that are different from the rest? Is it like because they're more western? Or is there any real rhyme or reason to it? Interesting. Moon is at 17 degrees though. So yeah, it's right now ours is probably 40 degrees up in the sky now. And that's my approximation based on just looking where it is. So 17 degrees. Yeah, you still have a little way to work up there, and if you have high enough trees in your area or buildings, then you might not be spotting it quite yet. Okay, I just realized I was covered up for most of that, but I wanted to make sure I got through your questions, the ones I could see in person here. But why don't I plan on, when I return at 10 o'clock, we will do switch over to Mars. I think that's a good plan. That way I have a little bit of time to warm up and you can finish looking up at the moon there. I wanted to capture some data though. Let me do that before I go inside. I haven't captured my full moon data yet. So I should do that before I go. I'm gonna put at 10 o'clock. At 10. Let's see. Make sure I put 10 o'clock Eastern time. Oh, it's so hard to type. Oh, that's a smiley face. I don't want a smiley face. I still did a smiley face. Hang on. There we go. Oops. Also, based on how I have my computer situated, it's become difficult to actually type some things in, but there we go. Whoops, too big, too big. You're growing too big there. Shrink it down. There we go. Okay, let me adjust the moon. Oh, wrong way. I will say about Mars before I head inside, it is pretty breezy tonight, so I'm not exactly sure what the results will look like. I am still gonna go through with it, of course, but I can't promise the 100% the best quality, but we'll still be able to see detail. I don't really doubt that. The image might just bounce around more than we'd like because of the wind. Because we have to zoom in so far. All right, we're gonna do some brief recordings. Oh, I wonder if my bottle of water has frozen yet. Nope, not yet. Alright, I'm just gonna hit record, we'll leave it recording. I will be back at 10. It'll take me, when I return at 10, it'll take me a little bit of time to get Mars in the field of view. So just bear with me on that, but we'll get there. I will pay attention to the chat inside, so if you have questions for me, feel free to ask them there, and I'll answer through the Kopernik account. Okay, I'm back. I just need to get the camera set up for Mars. Bear with me a second while I do what I need. Okay. Let's go to Mars. Oh, we lost. Why did we lose the moon? Oh, the dome. That's why. I'm just going to do one more brief recording on the moon. I should have checked the dome before I went back inside. But just to get back some more data. And this way I can prep for Mars in just a few minutes here. I can get the camera organized. Wrong way. Down. Down. And off to the side. We're all doing well. Still. I warmed up a fair bit in there. In our main Science Center building. Enough to hopefully camera work nicely. Now the camera, show you. And get rid of the be back soon. Further. Down further was up one. There we go. I'm also going to turn the ambient music up a little bit because I realize it's been a bit quiet this whole time. I didn't intend for that. So I'm going to, if the music gets distracting, let me know. I think I turned it up to a reasonable level though. The camera we're going to use for Mars in just a minute here is a ZWO one-shot color. And effectively it's an astrophotography webcam. In the most simplistic terms, that's how you can think about it. This is what it looks like. And there is a, excuse me, there is a lens on this right now. It's a CCTV lens that lets you get an all-sky view, all-sky picture of the sky, 180-degree field of view, so you can see everything. We did that for the meteor shower. I'm going to put a separate attachment on it that lets me attach it to the telescope. The air got much colder in here. So I'm going to get started on that while my camera finishes recording the moon. It's going to require a separate cable, different cable from the one we're using. I'm using a Type-C cable on the camera that's attached to the scope now, the Sony a7 III. I'm going to, this one actually uses a USB Type-B, I think it's called. It's the printer cable. So, can't use the same one, unfortunately. I was inside for too long. My body got used to the warm temperature in there. See, I'm going to have to touch this camera, unfortunately, because I can't get the lens out otherwise. Ooh, it's cold. I guess I'll have to take this out first. And that piece out, I feel lucky. It's so cool. Come on. Extra camera ring is like frozen shut. When I need, just need something to get it open a little bit. Oh, I should bring the chat up. It's in my pocket right now. That does me no good. Oh, looks like we have a range of ages tonight. That's cool. Welcome, everyone, if there's anyone new. I'm not actually called Kylo Ren. I'm called Jeremy. But tonight I'm Kylo Ren. Because we gotta have some fun, right? I can't get the... Why can't I get that out? If there isn't anyone new watching, I am one of the educators and the live stream astronomer here at Kopernik. And currently I'm just trying to get this camera to work. Because we are going to go to Mars next to end the show, hopefully. But to go to Mars, we have to get a different camera, because right now we are way too wide a field. That's not going to serve us any good for trying to magnify and see detail on the surface of Mars. I'll stop my camera from recording here. I don't need it to do that anymore. I have enough data on the moon. Whenever I stop recording, you get that oblong moon, which is kind of interesting. Not sure why it does that. Some kind of miscommunication between the remote software for the camera and the computer. I don't know what to do here. There we go. breathing on it worked, apparently. Swig of water. Excuse me. Oh, the more humid and warm air from inside to out here really did a number. Okay. Alright, the camera is ready to be switched out into the scope. Oh, actually, I need one more piece. I need an adapter. Actually, we're going to push it to a Barlow as well. So I'm going to hook what's called a Barlow lens up to the camera. So the Barlow lens is going to fit between the camera and the eyepiece mount. And what that'll do is it'll take the field of view the camera's receiving of Mars, and it's going to bump that field of view up 2 times. So you get 2 times magnification on the field of view. Oops, there goes my glove. From the camera. So, and we're going to need it. Mars is close to us right now, but it's a tiny planet. It's about half the size of the Earth. So we need to use as much magnification that the sky will allow us to use to get a good image. So that camera is ready to go. I'll show you the full kit here. This on the bottom here is an adapter to go from the 2-inch size eyepiece holder to a 1.25 inch. The thing in the middle is that Barlow I just talked about that's going to bump us up in magnification 2 times. And then this is the camera sensor. So you already get a lot of magnification out of this sensor alone, but this will bump that magnification up twice. So you get a way better image if the sky lets you. The sky might not let you depending on how unstable it is, which I suspect it's not great tonight, but we'll see what happens. I have to take my camera out of there, ideally without touching it. Touching the metal directly using my gloves. So the feed of the moon is going to cut out here for a second. Well, we're going to lose the moon completely because I'm going to unplug it. So just be aware of that. We're going to lose the moon now because we're switching to Mars. Because this is going to take me some time, let me go ahead and label that here on the screen. Exit out of this. And we're going to take the B back soon. Back up. And we're going to say switching to Mars instead. There we go. It's very difficult to type when your hands are freezing. Okay, switching to Mars. Let's go. Now, as I was mentioning to people earlier, because the dome is so cold right now, it's the same temperature as outside, which is below 30 now. The telescope becomes slightly dangerous to touch directly due to it being mostly made out of metal. So yeah, it becomes dangerous to touch it because it just pulls the heat out of your hands. You touch it for too long, you will get frostbite from it. So I have to watch out for that. I'm going to use my gloves as much as possible. I have to go put my camera away. I'll be right back. new camera in, and we'll go to Mars. Now the cool thing about Mars right now is a great time to observe it because it is really high in the sky. It is almost at zenith. I think it's like 60 degrees up. It's pretty awesome, if not more. I see it's like significantly higher than a 45, that's for sure. Oh, that water is so cold. Ooh. It's not frozen yet, but it's on the verge of it. Okay. Whew. How are we doing in the chat here? Let us know what objects you'd like to see in the future as well. If there's anything in particular. Let us know what objects you'd like to see. Sorry about that. I don't know why the volume was turned all the way up all of a sudden. Yes, Lernez, Mars is getting smaller right now. We are past opposition and we're moving away from it. Mars is sort of chasing us, but it can't keep up, so we're gonna it's gonna get smaller over time, but it's not significantly smaller right now compared to what it was at opposition. Not enough to really make a difference in photo quality. I mean, certainly if you had in really awesome seeing conditions, it would definitely make a difference. But in our case, try and get the bat lights in there just for fun. The seeing isn't amazing for planetary captures most of the time in this area, so it doesn't really affect us too much. So we'll still get a good view tonight, thankfully. And also that's the case with the rest of most of November, really. It'll still be just fine for observing. Where are we here? We're going to go a little bit further over. Also, in the chat, let me know if you want to see a telescope tour for any newcomers. I am happy to show you the telescope in better detail. I'll move the camera for you so you can see a little better. Because I know some people are new to the stream right now, and they might appreciate a better look at it. Yeah, if you can tell, these lights are little bat lights. Little purple bat lights. I can only do so much decorating in the dome. The dome isn't actually necessarily conducive to decorations because it's not designed for it. For the most part. Let's see, I need to plug into this. You know it's cold when all the cables are getting super stiff. Like the cords for all my cameras and such. The metal's getting incredibly cold. Not very ductile anymore. Alright, I think we're at least ready to start finding Mars. It might take me a moment though. So first thing I gotta do is open up the right camera now. Make sure it's turned on and ready to go, and then I'll be able to bring that camera feed into your field of view there, where the moon is right now. I'll be able to switch it out effectively. Alright, there it is. I haven't found Mars yet, but I found at least the camera feed. Okay, let's see if I can give this a try. You know what, it would help if this, we can work it around the finder scope. Yeah, it's a little better. I'll also be collecting some image data on Mars too. Stay tuned for that. So you come up there. Now one option I do have is to switch out the, I might have to do that, switch out the camera for an eyepiece temporarily. That's my, if I can't get this in the next couple minutes here, I will try that instead. I don't think I'm getting much glow. You can turn the white lights off for a second, you can have a nice little purple lights there. I like it. This actually looks nice. There is so much moon glow out there tonight, it's crazy. I mean, it's not, I'm used to it for full moons, but it's just, it still is kind of surprising when you see it. It really is super bright. Oh, okay. Saw a flash of something there. Ah, there it is. See the glare now. We should be able to capture it. So we have to go. There it is. I'll get it up on your feet now. Now that I have it roughly centered. Rate of movement across the sky. Okay, let's get it up on your feed and I'll worry about the exposure levels in a moment. Huh, why can't I find the right... Let's try a new window capture. There it is. That's the real one. Alright, I just gotta fit it now. I'm gonna remove this. We're going to improve the exposure in just a second. I just have to first layer this properly so it goes behind everything. There we go. It's not going to be that big either. That's sort of... it's just because it's so overexposed. It's going to shrink quite a bit when I adjust that and focus it. I need to adjust the window here. Okay, let's work on focus now. See how it's shrinking? That was the focus adjust there. And I gotta bring down the exposure. As well as the gain. Alright, we're getting somewhere now. Do a little bit more focusing. So now you get a sense of the size. It's going to even shrink a little bit more than that. The seeing's not nearly as good as I was hoping it'd be. Ooh, that's rough stuff. Well, I'll see what I can do about the focus. This is more just an added bonus for tonight. I hope I can improve that a little bit. That's pretty blurry. I'll turn the lights back on because I think we're good on the scope now. Okay. That is in fact Mars, though. Yeah, it's up there. Let's see. What can I do about... I can adjust the focus here. It's a little bit hard to do. Well, I guess I can drag the computer over here a little bit. I don't have a lot of wiggle room, but maybe just enough to make it more convenient. Is the music okay? Let me see if anyone ever mentioned that. Oh wow, you guys are talking. Oh geez, I missed a lot in those few moments. If there was any, just so I'm not like reading through, it's wasting too much time on your end on that. It looks like most of these are just conversations that you guys were having, which is awesome. Just if there was something aimed at me, a question for me, then just copy and paste it again so I can see it come in now. Oh, Alex says you're the best, Kylo. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now Kylo's studying Mars. Alright, well, we're getting some detail. There it is, centered there. We're getting a little bit of detail. Now, I'll point it out in just a second. And more. Well, maybe I can get the exposure levels down again here. Provide a little bit more. Oh, okay. Alright, I see where we are now. Alright. It's not too bad. It's a different location from what we were seeing during our opposition stream. We're seeing a very dark patch. Do you see that? The contrast there? Oh, okay. Looks like we're getting good results on the music. I should think about a bot. I mean, ideally we want to have a moderator on the stream to answer things that I don't get to. But maybe I'll consider that. Yeah, the combination on this scope is pretty nice. We don't have to, because it being a refractor as well, it's not something we have to worry about nearly as much as the 14 or the 20 as well, which is... Ooh, wow. That's a gust. Look at Mars bounce there. Yikes. That was a huge gust of wind. I think it'll stabilize eventually, but it's going to be a little bit gusty for a moment. Alex has watched every Star Wars. Awesome. It's so convenient having, I don't know if you... Oh, jeez. I think I own all of them now, but even still, it's so nice having them on Disney Plus, where you can just, not a sponsor, but I have to make sure I say that. But it is nice having them all there. Streaming is so nice in general. But yeah, it's awesome. They're all good. Mandalorian too. Let's see. Oh, you're the tiger this year. I didn't know that. Very cool. Oh, one thing I wanted to make sure I switched over was the title of the stream. I promise I will explain the details on Mars in just a second, but it's still gusty, so while we have all this instability, I'm just going to take it as an opportunity to fix the title on our stream now, because it's not just, the moon anymore. It's also Mars. So I'm going to adjust the top view here. Mars. Not the blue moon anymore. Live view of Mars from Kopernik. Okay, so you can see I just altered the text at the top, just above the image of Mars. It's sort of cool that Mars matches our Halloween orange. It's kind of neat. Now I gotta adjust the video title. Okay. See the rare Halloween blue moon and Mars. And Mars live. Okay, cool. Oh, we still got quite a few viewers at the moment. I appreciate that. Still some bouncy imaging there. Okay, let's see what we have comment-wise. Oh, I wish we could do Star Wars music. I considered it. I also considered Halloween music, like proper Halloween music, but unfortunately, it all requires licensing, and not something we can feasibly do. Nicholas asks, Jeremy, what do you have to do to work at Kopernik or get to learn about astronomy? So, I started as an intern here at Kopernik in 9th grade. Yeah, 9th grade. And I also took a few classes at Kopernik as well beforehand. But the internship was probably the most time I've spent up here beyond my current position as an educator. And where am I going with this? So, if you have a place like Kopernik, it's a great opportunity to invest some time early into astronomy and to get some good experience. Now, right now, of course, at Kopernik, the intern program is quieted down a bit because we just don't have in-person activities anymore. That's just until things clear up with social distancing and physical distancing. So for now, we're all virtual, but as soon as things get better, we're going to open up the intern program again. And it's a great opportunity to get in, actually use telescopes yourself, gain experience there, especially with visual astronomy, but also I am the intern coordinator right now for Kopernik. And one of the things I'm projecting out into the future is to actually allow for some astrophotography lessons in addition to our regular visual astronomy. Visual meaning you're looking directly through the scope and finding the object and everything like that. So I think there's going to be a lot of room to grow there, and really build up that experience if you're interested in going to astronomy in the future for a career, or exploring it through just through education or what have you. I think there's going to be a lot of neat opportunities there. So that's one great example, but also one of my deepest areas of inspiration for studying astronomy was reading. Reading is one big thing. I will always encourage people to read. And there's plenty of good content out there for a variety of age groups. And as you enter high school, maybe you're interested, start getting interested in physics. There's great books out there as well. One that I really liked was Stephen Hawking's Theory of Everything, which is sort of an all-encompassing book, not just narrowly focused on astronomy, but the universe as a whole. But that's a brilliant one. That's the one that comes to mind right now. But also documentaries are great. There's some really good quality ones out there. The Universe from the History Channel, even though it's a little bit older at this point, it's still pretty good. Cosmos, both the Neil deGrasse Tyson one and also the older one from, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Carl Sagan, there we go. Those are both quality documentaries on the universe, and also just finding inspiration through. Where am I going here? There we go. Through other means of media, like early on, I was inspired by. I'm sure you can have guessed it. I was inspired by Star Wars, and a little bit of Star Trek, but mostly, for me, it was mostly Star Wars, just because that's what I was introduced to first. I gotta change the rate here of the. Let's go 8 times. There we go. So I can get Mars back center. So even though Star Wars isn't sci-fi, it's sci-fi, or rather science fantasy. It still inspired me a lot to just want to explore all these worlds that are out there, both in our solar system and beyond. So any inspiration you can pull from places like that, I think, is genuinely good. Especially, it keeps your dreams alive, and also keeps you imaginative, which is another necessary thing for science. Any scientific field, you have that creative background is valuable. It's like when you think of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. I always try to refer to it as STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, because that creative element and that creative thinking is valuable in those fields. A good question. So that's sort of where I would lead you down that path. But everyone finds their own way, and also getting your first telescope is another big one. I got mine early middle school, I think. I think I had a much smaller one when I was very young, but my first telescope I actually used was in middle school. So that's another good thing. Okay, let me go back. I saw the comments for streaming. I talked about that for a while. That's good. I'm glad. Yeah, the wind is really moving. Well, thank you, Linda. Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so thrilled that we're able to continue delivering the sky to you. Even though we prefer to have you look directly through the scope. In some cases right now it might be even better that we're just doing it virtually because it's so cold. So there's positives and negatives, but I'm glad we're able to deliver it during these times where we just can't have people, a lot of people up here at once. Oh wow, there's another big gust. The telescope mostly returns to its original spot, but you can see how much it actually moves around. Let me take an opportunity to actually explain what we're seeing here. I'm going to move this a little bit so we're not getting that user interface graphic there. We don't really need that. I'm going to make sure I understand exactly how this moves. Yeah, right is right, and down is down. Okay, good. So, in this image of Mars, you're getting that dark contrast against the lighter, rusty, orangey color. And the orangey, rusty color of Mars comes from the actual iron oxide that's in the dust on Mars. And that's actually where a significant portion of its oxygen went. Among escaping the atmosphere, it's also in that compound, iron oxide, which is iron and oxygen together. So that's rust. You see rust all over on Earth. When iron oxidizes, that's what you get. You get that rusty color. Now, it's really only the dust of Mars that's that color in the surface layer. So the interior, or just below that dust layer, it's much darker. It's a much darker rocky material. And that's what you see there in that contrast. You get the lighter rust and then the darker rocky material on Mars. And that shifts over time because the dust will actually... There's a moth in here and it's still alive. How is it alive? It's so cold. But the dust will shift across the planet because it does have an atmosphere. It's much thinner than our own. But over time, you'll get the winds blowing that dust around and changing the landscape. Back during the previous opposition, the previous close approach back in 2018, July of 2018, there was a global dust storm that did have some impacts on the surface features we previously imaged with the satellites and telescopes. So we're now, during this opposition we didn't get a dust storm, so, or at least a significant one that was global. So we are actually having some pretty nice views of Mars. The problem we're having tonight is actually the seeing and the wind, of course, like you're seeing there, bouncing the image all around. So that's affecting our view of the planet. But you can get some contrast, and if you look to the lower, so if you look right at the bottom of Mars, right? Go 45 degrees to the 45 degrees counterclockwise. So that's basically almost the lower right diagonal of the planet. Just on the edge of your view, you'll occasionally see this white spot pop up. That white spot is the South Pole of Mars. Right now, the southern hemisphere is heading into summer. The northern hemisphere is in winter, similar to us, really. So that's why you can't see the larger North Pole, and that's why the South Pole is so tiny. And even as far back as, not even far back, back in July, the South Pole was significantly larger because it was heading out of winter. But now it's heading into summer. I guess rather heading out of, or it's in its spring, right? So things are starting to, you can think of like they're starting to thaw. So now it's heading into summer, and it has gotten much smaller. And I was actually able to see that difference when I took a picture back in July, and even though Mars wasn't as close to us, you could actually see the South Pole is much bigger. Now, the South Pole is much smaller, and that is noticeable. You can only just barely make out this little white point on the image. So pretty cool. That's the one specific feature I can identify for you. The actual dark spot we're seeing, I can't readily identify. Maybe if I look at my Mars map. Let me take a quick look at that. I'm sorry for all the sniffles, by the way. If they're coming through, I do apologize. Let's see. Mars map. Let's see what's facing us right now. South Pole's there. Alright, so Margaritifer Terra, I think, is the feature we're seeing, that dark patch. I'm not 100% sure because we just don't have the resolution, but that should be facing us right now. And that's the darkest. We might also be seeing part of Val Marinaris, which that is the largest canyon in the solar system. Larger than the Grand Canyon even. It's massive. It's the width of the United States. Very large. Alright, let me look at the chat here. Very good. Alrighty, let me see if I can get centered one more time. I'll probably center it, just do this one last centering and see how far, oh, wrong way, this way. See how far it'll take us. Again, because it's not going to get much better, so what we have is sort of what we have to work with tonight. Especially with this crazy wind, look at that. And then we will, there we go. Yeah, we'll start to think about wrapping some things up for the stream tonight. So if there are any final questions, do let me know. I'm going to put my mask on. So we should be, as we think about wrapping up, I should be Kylo Ren, right? There we go. And also it's warm in here. Oh, much better. Okay. Let's see. I got to crouch down to see. Ah, a tiger fish or a tiger shark. That's kind of a cool one. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay temperature wise too. It is cold, but like I'm not terribly. I guess I'm not. I'm used to this. As we head into winter, it tends to be the case where the observing is worth the cold. Actually, while I'm thinking, let me quickly just. Where is this here? My mouse. Here's my mouse. I want to adjust, or rather start recording a little bit of data on Mars. Let me try focusing one more time. See if we can eke out any more detail. No, I don't think we can. I think that's what we have. Okay, fair enough. Let's record. Oh, of course, as soon as I start recording, we get some wind. Where'd my phone go? Yeah, I'll definitely warm up. I can actually, I'll be able to preheat my car before heading out. So I'm gonna do that, and then, yeah, that'll be nice. And then when I get home, I'll be able to warm up even more, of course. But we'll be able to heat up as I go on home. Got heated seats too, so looking forward to it. There's something else here from Nicholas. Yeah, Nicholas, what I would recommend to you is if you would, there's actually an application you can fill out online. It's under, if you go to our website, which is in the video description, Kopernik.org, you can, I never pictured myself talking about this as Kylo Ren, but hey, I'm just going to roll with it. You can go to the volunteer tab, and there is a sub-page under there called interns, or high school internship, something like that. You can click on that, and that will take you to the application that you can fill out online. And when we do start going back to normal and we can start hiring on new interns, that'll be there, and I'll be able to look at that later on. Right now, as I said, like the intern program is pretty quiet. I haven't been able to invest a lot of time in it, so it's something that will happen as we open back up. But for now, that's the best way to just sort of lock in a place, I suppose. He's turned off. Yeah, the application is available for anyone. Depends on where you are. I will say that. Just because we are local, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where anyone actually lives, of course. So I'm just going to mention that just for your awareness. It's sort of dependent on that. We usually hire more local people just because it's a very locally focused. Although as we expand, who knows? We're doing a lot of virtual stuff now. We have a lot of people from all over. I saw Alex in there ask too when our next stream is. So I'm planning. I don't have a specific date because it is dependent on weather. I have to be pretty. This was sort of a unique case where I was pretty convinced that it was going to be clear a week ago. The weather conditions looked like they were pointing towards that, and it turns out that was the case. So I watch out for that, and I plan for streams as early as I can, but we're just so dependent on clear skies and when they happen that it oftentimes ends up being like you'll find out a day or two before. Right now I'm planning on mid-November. So somewhere in that range where there's a new moon and the skies are nice and dark, we're going to do deep sky objects, which means nebula, galaxies, star clusters, all the dimmer stuff. We're going to use that other camera I had for the moon and do long exposures and see what kind of images we can get from that. So look out for that, mid-November. That's probably the next stream coming. Maybe we'll do one more moon or planetary stream before then, but we'll see. Depends. My main focus is going to be on doing a deep sky stream. Good question. We try to let you know with at least 2 days notice. Sometimes it's just a day, but we work with what we have in the Northeast here. The Binghamton Vestal area is infamously cloudy. So we have to fight the clouds a little bit. Okay. All right, I am thinking that it's probably getting close to time to wrap up the stream. It is getting a bit, I guess, like, you sort of know when you've reached your threshold. So, and I think I'm approaching it. So if there are any final questions, I am happy to answer them. And as I said, as we head in the winter time, I'm going to have a solution for this. I won't be able to be in the dome in 10-degree weather for this amount of time. That's just not sustainable. Or even zero, like, that just won't work. So I'm going to find a way to continue to stream from the scope without freezing. I'll probably have to remote into the computers or camera, something like that. We'll find a way to do it because we're going to keep these up during the winter time as long as we can. Let me see what the questions are. Oh, we got Nicholas is in Rome, 38 minutes. Oh, that's no problem. Yeah, if you're looking for our information, again, I might have missed part of this conversation, but if you're looking for our info, there is, in the video description for this YouTube video, there is a link for our website, and that's the best place to go to learn more about volunteering and Kopernik in general. Oh, I gotta stop recording. There we go. All right. I think I've answered what I saw here. Yep, so you can just go in the description to access more information. I will don the Kylo Ren helmet once more. Thank you all for joining me in this first ever Halloween live stream at Kopernik Observatory. I hope you all have still Halloween, so I can still wish you a happy Halloween. Let me get the lightsaber going. There we go. Ooh, hit the dome. I wish you all a happy Halloween. Stay safe out there. And we hope to see you again next time. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. That really helps us out. And yeah, so thank you for joining me. We'll see you on the next stream. Bye, guys.